We are live, David Eichholt, once again. This show brought to you by FanDuel all season long. Shout out to him. KF Press Review Show. We're back. The Eichholt and Kluver Power Hour, as it's been dubbed by ourselves. Can you name your own show? I don't know, like that. I'm not sure. We're here.
I do like the Kluver and Eichholt Power Hour. I just think that just has a nice little ring to it.
We could potentially, if we go for year 3 next year,
might have to rebrand.
We could discuss a rebrand. Ike's got the energy in the cup there. He's ready to go. We have the energy. Eagle Point Solar, also one of our sponsors and partners this year. Shout out to them. If you are looking for a solar energy solution, we're going into the winter months. And if you have solar, it doesn't necessarily require the sun to be out and shining. The light can shine through the clouds. I got a whole education on this when I sat down with the folks at Eagle Point. And I think that's one of the big sells here is probably not a lot of people are educated on the solar stuff. They will sit you down and not only give you a full audit of your energy bill and if you could save money, but what that looks like, how it would work on your specific house or farm, agriculture, residential, commercial. They can do it all. So shout out to Eagle Point Solar. They've been great to work with. We appreciate having them on the pod this year. We're going to bring some energy, or maybe we won't. I'm feeling like 80% today. I have a mild headache, and Ike's dealing with, I don't know, what are they constructing outside of your place?
They're totally redoing the entire road right next to the window.
Okay.
So, I'm the closest window to this road.
Love that.
Yeah, so I'm just like, hey, you know what? And there's no point in them redoing it either. I mean, other than to get jobs out, which is fine. That's cool. But not when I'm potting.
I can't hear it. And
okay, I'm good with that.
In my headphones, I can usually hear more than anybody else can hear unless you
honestly, dude, it's been going on for a few hours now. Maybe I'm just crazy and maybe my brain just has it wired to where it's just nonstop in my brain now. It could have stopped like 30 minutes ago. Who knows?
Yeah. You've got it playing on just nonstop, like the Hawks do when they go into an opponent's stadium, especially a trophy game, and they'll play the opposing fight song of that team. So this week, it might be the Wisconsin theme as the Hawks take on the Badgers. I was gonna make a bad tweet earlier today too about the Wisconsin Badgers.
Nice,
because they're not as good this year. But hey, maybe they'll pose a different threat than they have to other teams this season. Played Michigan.
Okay. I mean, Michigan's not what they're supposed to be either. I do think their quarterback's going to be really good. I think he's a year or two away, though. But, you can see schools there. Their O-line's good. I mean, here's the thing. Wisconsin's not good, but they have their dangerous pieces. They still have some really good players. Now, skill position-wise, I don't think there's a lot of factor there. They've clearly struggled to put up points, so this has to be a strong response from the Iowa defense, especially in the tackling department, and let that point total kind of carry over. But this is not Wisconsin of old, Tyler. This is not when you guys played Wisconsin. They are not, especially on the offensive line, they're bottom 4 in pass protection and run blocking in the Big Ten by Pro Football Focus. So if Phil wants to dial up the blitzes, it's not like their quarterback, any quarterback. Well, Billy Edwards has a little bit of mobility. I should say that, but he doesn't have a rocket of an arm either. But they still have some dangerous weapons. They still stop the run very, very well.
We're going to preview more of this game on the back end of this. I do want to get to, obviously, the press conference with Coach. Is Edwards playing?
I don't think the expectation is for him to play, but I don't believe they've ruled him out.
So we're in the exact same situation as them. Both teams are like, well, he could.
I mean, if you want to take it from that standpoint, yeah, except one quarterback's actually decent.
Being Mark Gronowski?
Yeah, I mean.
I think that's a fair way to classify him through 5 games. I think the Indiana game before he got hurt, I think he really showed a lot. I think he did. I think how he was able to pick apart Indiana's defense in at the second tier, specifically on third down multiple times, was really, really comforting Like, I don't remember. There was a string of third downs or a string of like plays we needed to get where we got them. And I don't remember the last time we had that. And like, yeah, I think Mark has proven that he can make pretty much all the throws. I think he's proven that he can even make the deep throws, even though we haven't caught several of them.
I mean,
at this point, I think if Mark
they've been missing their top weapon too, right? I mean, what we think would be their top weapon, Reese Vanders. I guess we really can't say he's wide receiver one just because he hasn't played. Because right now it looks like Sam Phillips is arguably wide receiver one, but again, you see Dayton Howard kind of ascending up the list. I think the wide receivers have gotten better over the last few weeks too, not just Mark. Like, they're getting off their routes cleaner. They're doing it against better teams. And you would have loved to have that momentum kind of carry over into Wisconsin. And like you said, you want to talk about the press conference. I mean, 20 minutes of it was about Mark Gronowski. And I'll give KF credit because I think 4 or 5 of us kept pushing to get more details out of him. And he was choosing his words carefully.
I mean, he's a vet, obviously. Yeah, they're just so good at like, they're all doing well. We're playing all 3 of them. Yeah, so I kept hearing this. I saw you guys report on it. I see you guys live tweet the show when it happens on Tuesday afternoons or the press conference.
Yeah.
And based off of things I've seen on Twitter, things I've heard, I kind of thought that the whole I thought it was a front. I thought that it was a little bit worse, and maybe they did too, because part of what KF said was like they were pleasantly surprised, I think was the quote. I think they might have thought that there wasn't as much of a chance as well initially. And I kind of thought the whole thing last week with Lester was, hey, you can talk to the head ball coach next week and he can update you. I thought it was more of a front of like Hank or Heck is going to start and we're going to say that Mark is still available and has potential to start just so that they have to prepare for him. Listening to KF, it actually sounds like there is a chance.
So let me give you the full rundown of what I've heard over the last week. So let's get one thing clear. Mark would not have played if there was a game last Saturday.
No.
Because I know some people were like, well, Kirk said he was medically cleared. They didn't even know what was up with him until Saturday. And I still the only thing that they've been able to really tell is it wasn't long-term. It wasn't season ending. Right?
I find that hard to believe.
David,
how do you as a Division I quarterback, a $2 million man, how do you not know what's wrong with him?
Here's what I'd also point out though too, Tyler. If it was positive, it would have leaked out.
Yes.
If it was positive, it would have leaked out from that's my experience. So I began to hear they felt comfortable saying it wasn't a season-ending injury. It was going to be a week-by-week thing. And the whole thing that it sounds like it took a turn on Monday and yesterday was the fact that they did some additional testing, and that's when the results came back in a positive way in favor of Mark's health. Kirk doesn't know, with all due respect, Kirk does not know how to phrase that, because usually if an MRI or something results come back positive, that's not a good thing. You want results to come back negative.
Yeah.
So he was saying it's positive news for Mark. And he said, okay, they felt pretty good about that. And then he did most of the practice. He said he practiced as normal on Tuesday. And that's when he was like, okay, there's actually a chance he can play. So until yesterday, they really didn't think that there was, I don't want to say a realistic chance, but the odds were stacked against him. But now it's about how did he respond today? Did his knee swell up?
Yeah.
Is he waking up sore? Can he decelerate? And that's the other part of this, which we'll probably have differing opinions on maybe down the road here in this podcast. If Mark's not 100%, do you play him over Hank Brown in this game?
It's literally the question I was going to base the second half of this podcast on. Yeah.
Okay. I'll wait on that.
So we'll get there.
That was the whole timeline. It took them over a week to really feel confident and comfortable with what was up. Now, the other part of it, though, too, Tyler, is you've played a lot of football. Watched a lot of football. You've seen a lot of weird injuries. That was one of the stranger injuries I've seen, and that's why I give them the benefit of the doubt, because when he went down and he was smacking his hands, you could tell, obviously emotions are taking over, but he gets in the medical tent, stays in the medical tent for a while.
A long time. Buddy was in there for a while.
I think it was over 8 to 10 minutes he was in there, right? Comes out, does all the stretches, does the hip thrust, does the knee highs, and I'm like, knee ups. I'm like, okay, what's going on? So I thought initially he was going to go back in.
Yeah.
And the whole thing that Iowa needs and Mark needs to be careful of, if he can't decelerate, you can't play him.
Yeah.
You can't.
Yeah. So I'm trying to think of if I can explain that in a way for people who are like, okay, decelerate. Like, what is that? So from a biomechanical standpoint, like a how your body and muscles work standpoint, that is deceleration. And when you're doing things with your body, that's actually where a lot of the damage or the breaking down. Think about like when you're working out, if you ever do some eccentrics, or how about this? It's harder to walk down stairs when you have a little tweak in your quad or your knee hurts or something than it is to walk upstairs, because you are resisting against gravity, whereas you're working up and pressing into an ascent. You don't have to stop your momentum. You're trying to keep the momentum when you're going up or when you're going forward, versus when you're trying to stop or decelerate, you're working against that. And it's just the way that works. It's a lot more tricky. And if you can't decelerate, that looks like Mark in execution on the field, running out of the pocket and not being able to slow down to put his foot in the ground to maybe cut it back up inside and grab the first. It looks like him running out of bounds to, just on a scramble, and he can't slow down. He's going to have to run into the bench or the players to like stop his momentum, that kind of stuff.
And it significantly amplifies the risk of a long-term injury when you can't do that.
Yeah, and the other thing I can't really speak to, hard to say if he's just standing in the pocket. I don't think it would matter a whole lot. How does that feel when you're pushing and driving through a pass? I don't know what that feels like. It's probably very specific to his injury. So all of those things, again, going back to like, I just don't know how you don't get that imaging done. All the imaging you could possibly do immediately on Sunday or Monday after the Indiana game. I don't know how they didn't, like, that's what I'm confused about. How do they wait?
I think there's a couple things, and I'm the farthest thing. I mean, not to steal a KF quote. I'm the farthest thing from a doctor or a medical expert.
I'm not a fucking doctor, okay? Oh, shit. I skipped. He actually had a great quote. He's like, I fucking skipped chemistry, biology. I tried to.
Oh, yeah. He goes, I didn't sign up for any of that shit.
I didn't. No, he didn't cuss, but I didn't take chemistry, okay?
Part of it, too, is like when there's swelling or a lot of other things, like they can't get the imaging done right away.
I guess that's true.
And there's so much scar, like there's scar tissue that can get in the way, so they have to do like there's so many different factors.
Does anybody know if this is the knee he hurt before?
That's a good question. I don't.
I'm surprised no one asked.
I will need to go back and look at that.
Because he did tear his ACL in like his second year at South Dakota State in like 2021 or something.
Because remember, he was only cleared for like a week and a half when he came to Kinnick with his team.
Yeah.
Like he didn't play. He didn't barely practice. He just ended up going to Iowa. And
yeah. So that is sort of the issue there. It's interesting because of the position he's in, as far as like he has 1 year with this team. He's been paid all this money to play quarterback for Iowa. Obviously, if you're legitimately hurt and can't play, that's another story. But when it's foggy, when it's gray area, do you press? Do you try? Like, this is not, I mean, it's funny that Wisconsin in Camp Randall night game is potentially like the least competitive, or maybe, throw Michigan State in there later in the year, maybe Minnesota. Like it's on the bottom half of the back half of the schedule of like big time games, right? So do you look at it and say, if we can keep him, again, we're going to get to this. If we can keep him out, we can save him for those bigger games, one of which is coming up immediately next week.
Well, I mean, it's obviously it's a bigger game because it's a night game. And by the way, all these damn night games.
I fucking hate the night games, man.
I hate to be a buzzkill, but like it just kind of like the fact that 5 of Iowa's first 7 games this year are night games is insane to me.
It hurts more because the 2 out of conference ones were night games. Like it would be fine if Albany and UMass would have been like 11 a.m. kicks.
Yes.
And then we had night games versus, the other 3.
And I know most people know this, but it's still worth repeating. This is not Iowa's choosing.
No.
Like they're doing what the networks are telling them to do. And
I have to I got to re-up my Peacock for this fucking.
Dude, I'm not gonna lie. I mean, I'm a big Peacock guy.
You like Peacock? You like
Peacock? It's dude, I think some of the productions and stuff they do is better than some networks.
David Eichel confirmed huge cock guy.
Huge Peacock guy, dude. Massive.
A massive cock.
The other part of it though is with everything else too, and I think this is worth floating out there. And the part is Penn State might not even be a ranked game. I don't know if they'll get ranked again.
I know. I feel there's good and bad.
It's a brand win. You beat Penn State. It's a brand win.
There's good and bad about that, and we can maybe get to that too. We'll obviously talk about that next week. Yeah. So KF, let's just go real quickly because this is part of the show. So it sounds like they have really been day to day. Like all these reports coming out. Oh, it's day to day, touch and go. Who knows? Mark Gronowski, is he going to play? Maybe not. Hammer and Hank. Hecklinski. Gunslinger. What are we going to see? And they really don't know. They felt optimistic about Tuesday. He did a lot of good work on Tuesday. They're working all 3 guys. But who knows? As we record this, they're getting off the practice field. And that's probably, they probably knew before that because, and I know as for everyone who's listening, Mark probably finished practice yesterday. They went into the training room, immediately did treatment, immediately did, inflammation prevention, like everything that he could possibly do, ice bath, every single thing that they have in that complex, they're doing to get him ready. And Kirk said he's been wearing out. He's like, I don't see Mark's car out there, but I've seen it a lot the last 9 days, like talking about how he's been there just constantly. He's wearing out the training staff. So he's doing everything he can to get back. Obviously, you would expect that. Not going to have Jazz or Terrell Washington.
The Jazz one's interesting to me because I want to go back to how he got hurt.
That was in the Rutgers game? Or was that?
Yeah, he didn't play against Indiana.
Right?
I don't believe he played against Indiana. No, because Nathan McNeil was the backup in that game.
So what did he do? Is it his shoulder?
I think they said his ankle.
It's his ankle?
I think he tweaked an ankle, I believe they said. On the broadcast. But again, I would need to go back and check because I don't even remember him getting hurt.
We talked about last time how they would have really enjoyed having Xavier, who they will have for this game.
Sounds like he has a chance as well as Reese Vanderzee.
And that's like a nice, fun development for fans and guys like us. I don't think he'll play a lot. And if he does play a lot, I don't think he'll get targeted much.
He'll get 10 to 15 snaps. That's the worst part about the lower body injury. You know it better than I do, Tyler. Like it's going to take him a couple weeks to get back his conditioning back.
It is fun, though, that if he's on the field, you expect that, like, okay, for that rep or for whatever limited amount of reps that he's going to get, he is a threat. He could do something. And that'll be fun for us and maybe fun for whoever's at quarterback because that's a big guy that you can throw the ball to. God, could you just imagine if we just put Reese and Dayton on the edges on this just – what if we put both of those guys? What if we use both of our 6'4" guys and we just ran 2 go routes?
I love it.
When's the last time we did that? I know.
Let that bitch sling, dude.
Just let it go. And challenge both corners, both sides of the field so that they can't, shift.
Wisconsin's corners have been shaky all year. Like you have to push the ball against them. That's the other part. And the other part is, again, Wisconsin's second in the Big Ten in rushing defense, as bad as they are.
And that's why I brought up Jazz and the whole thing. Like we wanted Jazz and Xavier as like the hard downhill backs against Indiana because Indiana was great against our front too. And I don't know where they rank in that. But this is supposed to be like if Wisconsin has one good thing, they've shored up the defensive line and the run stopping. Obviously, that's a strength for us. We want to run the ball. We have a great offensive line who can road grade. So it's going to be strength on strength. It would be great to have Jazz, but obviously Kamari is great. We love Kamari. McNeil has flashed. We have Xavier. That should be enough to get us through. It's just, can we start to open up those holes? How do they see it schematically? I think we'll be okay. But yeah, it's going to be interesting. I don't know. If Wisconsin's able to stop our run game, that just feels like a loss for us. Like, we even ran it somewhat decent against Indiana, who was doing a lot to stop us. We still found some stuff in there. So I don't know. How do you feel about that?
I also think Mark picked apart the defense after throwing that early pick. Like, he was pretty efficient the rest of the game. He picked the soft spots in coverage, made the makeable passes. Iowa was pretty decent third down, and Wisconsin's good in third down defense. That's the other part. Like, it also depends on like who's going to start quarterback. I hate to keep going back to that, but there's going to be a significantly different game plan if Hank Brown's in the game than if Mark Gronowski's in the game. If Hank Brown's in the game, I think Iowa's going to lean a lot more on the run game, and they're going to say, "Hey guys, like we have to take pressure off of Hank. You have to keep him confident, have him complete some, I know people screen passes, like get him going early."
That's where you want to go, the screen pass, David, huh?
Well, I think that's the easiest completion there is, especially if it's set up right. But you also have to lean on your blockers and your offensive line when you run screens, right? So you're putting more amplified pressure on the offensive line to be able to make things go. But I'm with you. I think this should be a huge Kamari Moulton game. I love the fact that Xavier Williams, I want to know how healthy he is because, the big physical run style, like that's the type of guys you need in these sort of games, right?
Yeah.
This Wisconsin defensive line is massive. 300-pound guys all across the board. Again, Wisconsin has not been good this year, and I know if any Wisconsin fans ends up watching this, I'm going to get a lot of shit for this. This is Wisconsin's Super Bowl.
I think
this is their Super Bowl this year, and honestly, nobody should take offense to that either. The rest of the schedule is a freaking death walk. This is their most winnable game left on the schedule, and if they lose this game, their will to play the rest of the season is going to be over. They're going to pour everything into this game. And I don't want to hear about all the 42 push-ups. Like, that's just corny stuff. If that gets them motivated, sure. But, like, that's just stupid.
Well, that's part of them making it their Super Bowl from the inside.
Yes.
No doubt. Night game. That heightens the environment.
I think it's homecoming for them as well.
So you've got everything, everything they could possibly throw at this that could get them up for a potential win. It's their last hope at feeling like they have any real success this year. Otherwise, it could be real dark. Ryan on YouTube said, "Hey, they haven't run the slow mesh since the Iowa State game. Maybe this is the time to do it. You get Hecklinski in there from Wake Forest, Ruggiero, run that thing, huh?"
I would love it. I've been waiting on the slow mesh to come back. I really have.
I think everybody has.
It's so funny because the offensive linemen are so uncomfortable with it, but they love running it. But Kirk, and again, this is not a dig at Kirk, but Kirk's sitting there like, holy shit, every time. Because
I think everybody is.
Oh yeah, because the other part is though too. We talk about taking pressure off the quarterback. If Mark's not the guy and you have Hank in there and you run the slow mesh with him, you're putting a lot of pressure on him to be able to make the right read.
I'd rather have Hecklinski in there if we're going to run the slow mesh, just because he came along with.
I don't disagree with that.
Yeah. I don't know if that's part of the game plan, but I think that would be. I mean, it worked so well for like a solid drive there against Iowa State. I don't know why we wouldn't.
The other part is though too, when we talk about Mark, like if he's in the game, how different's the playbook?
I mean, KF said it's the offense is the offense regardless of the quarterback. It'll look slightly different depending on what each guy is good at.
The other thing to keep in mind too when it comes to Mark, and I'm not sure if I brought this up earlier, I apologize, but he said he ran the normal practice and practice with the quarterbacks, but he said it's not like he was doing QB runs or anything.
Yeah, I don't know how much they do like they'll still run those plays where like there's design stuff for him in practice. But because they like to keep guys off the quarterback anyway, those things get cut off pretty quick. even when he was healthy. Yeah, I don't know. If he is in the game, that is a question. Like, do we run him much?
I was only intrigued by that from the standpoint of like it's been such a major part of Iowa's offense this season, and not even. I mean, obviously the scrambling is one thing, but like you said, the design quarterback runs. We've asked about them. They've talked about how it provides almost an advantage for the offense because you have 10 guys blocking and one guy with the football.
Yeah.
Right. Instead of like a running back, and quarterback's not going to go out there and lay a hit on the linebacker. Well, unless you're Nate Stanley and it's Samir Smith-Marset down the sideline or something.
I miss Nate. Nate was great.
I think everybody missed Nate after what's been going on for the last several years.
Yeah. Interesting quote when, again, like you said, most of this press conference was about the quarterbacks. Who looks the best by Friday? That's basically what they're saying. Obviously, the recovery from practice to practice Tuesday to Wednesday for Mark is going to have a large bearing on that. Said Hank has done good stuff. Jeremy looks impressive. He used the word impressive, talking about Hecklinski. Like, and that's what a couple of the other guys have said too. When you guys have interviewed players, is like, what did Cohen say? Or somebody was like, yeah, he's got a little flash to him. Like, I want to see.
He's just got some swagger.
I just want to see the swagger, man. I just want to see it.
I think there's gonna be a really fun quarterback competition next year.
Yeah,
I really do. Not to look too far ahead, but and I'm still curious. I am curious if Iowa ends up going back in the portal for a quarterback. I don't think that's their plan right now.
Yeah.
But I'm very interested in that because otherwise it's going to be – I do think Hecklinski has a realistic shot being the quarterback next year.
I say you let them battle it out, honestly. Like, I think they've shown, and the way they talk about them, what did
Well, there's another thing to keep in mind too, Tyler. That's going to be different than last year. There's only one portal period, and that's before spring ball.
We're going to talk about that on our show, on the main show too, because that is a new thing. He said Hank has been here longer when it comes to the backup. I know we got the or designation on the depth chart this week. And the way he's talked about them, and he even said it himself, was we just feel good. They've all done good stuff. This room is healthier relative to the last previous years. Like, they are all capable of running this offense, and it just looks different than, and it was the most respectful way to say that Deacon Hill and Cade and Sully and all these guys that we had previous, the floor of this room has risen a lot based off of last offseason and the work that Lester did crafting the components of the quarterback room. And so that's encouraging. Again, with as much money as we spent on Mark, whatever that number is, I just don't know if we need to recoup some of that maybe and not spend quarterback money 2 years in a row.
Wide receiver.
I say or whatever, right? Whatever we need. Again, I think if you've got Reese and Dayton on next year's roster, you got a couple components. Like, you're sitting okay still in the receiver room. Maybe it is a receiver. Maybe it's somewhere else. Maybe it's a defensive position. I don't know. Don't spend the quarterback money though. Let's just take Hank Brown and Hecklinski or whoever else emerges in that room into 2026. Obviously, conversation down the road.
Yeah.
But I that would be my. And I've seen a lot of people who are like, let's not spend quarterback money. Let's just get all the other good players, and we'll just make it work at quarterback.
As long as you can make the quarterback be a respectable room, you're allowed to do that. That's the other part of it. Iowa has not, and that's exactly why they have to ball out. Speaking
of money to players, the Swarm is a partner of the Washed Up Walk-Ons this year, and we are happy that they are on board. We had Brad on last week. Go and check out that episode if you haven't. It is... for at least some amount of time, that is an evergreen episode. You can listen to that. It's not a bye-week exclusive. It was more on the general state of NIL as it sits in the middle of the season 2025. And as he mentioned several times in that show, it is ever-changing. And he kind of talks about how the new dynamic with rev share has come about, what they've looked at as far as internally on the Iowa side of things, how they've determined that the Swarm money will be used. And if you can contribute to the Swarm collective, it is going to continue to help the Hawkeyes, not just the football team, but basketball as well. He talked about a little bit about McKenna Velichko and how, he's been involved in all that is like your money. And if you're able to give to the Swarm, it is helping get and retain some of those elite players, some of the top 10% talent on each team. So shout out to the Swarm and Brad. And then Big Grove. Some of you caught us live in person. Some of you caught the broadcast Friday night. First time attending Big Grove Brewery in Des Moines, David. And it was that place is an absolute treat. They have
it's sweet, isn't it?
That they have a spot there.
They do. I was there Saturday after early afternoon. I was at a wedding on Saturday afternoon, so naturally I went there a few hours before, just hung out with some friends.
Yeah.
It's a great spot.
The spot is amazing. I mean, they have some serious real estate there, and the way they built that out, the patio is so sick. Like,
food's awesome.
The food is elite. We sat there, Corey Brada and myself. Corey sipped on a citrus surfer. I had one of the Easy Eddies, and although I'm not a beer guy, hey, I sat there.
Say, bud, you had a beer? Look at you.
I didn't finish it. It was like a 2-hour show, and I drank about a third of it. But it was something to sip on, and I could see how you could sit down there, especially if you're an enjoyer of alcoholic beverages. Dude, I'm not even someone who's like, I want to go watch at a place. But if you could sit down there on game day, you could get real cozy and just hang out there for quite a while and eat the delicious food at Big Grove. And that's just one of their 5 locations. And they're expanding, I think, more as well. So they're doing big things. It is the official watch party location, the official craft beer. They're the official everything of the Iowa Hawkeyes. So shout out to Big Grove for hosting us. Plan to do more with them moving forward as well.
Do you want to hit the question of the day?
I just want to go over my notes real quick. He did talk about Mark or about the pace of play a little bit. Wisconsin is, I think Doc asked the question.
Yeah.
They're like 100.
I think it's 112th, I want to say.
In plays ran, but like 5th or top 10 or something in time of possession.
I think he said they average a play every 32 seconds.
Which is like so slow.
That's ridiculous.
That's like Ben McCollum basketball.
At Drake, not this year.
At Drake, yeah. It's still wild to me, by the way, real quick basketball tangent, that like Bennett Sturtz is on all of these like preseason Big Ten, All-American. Like it's crazy to me that we have a guy that's that good. I just don't believe it yet. I didn't watch a lot of Drake basketball. I watched the tournament game. If he's that good against Big Ten competition, this is going to be one hell of a fun year to watch. I don't care what the record is.
It's going to be a lot of fun. And I'll say, I think he's the best point guard Iowa's had in 40 years.
That's crazy.
Like he's a guy where if he has a big year, Tyler, he's going to go top 15. He's going to go lottery pick in the NBA.
That's so wild to me.
Yeah.
That is crazy.
Especially from a guy who only had one scholarship offer at any level.
Even more crazy. I think the one thing that I've listened to McCollum talk about with him, and just from what I was able to watch limited in the tournament last year, is and it's of course the thing that impresses me, is like his conditioning and the way that he can just go. Like his engine, his motor is just nonstop.
Yeah.
Like fatigue is not an issue. And I love that. He's just, you can't wear him down. And if you have that guy running your offense, man,
you're going to have some fun. Let's put it that way. Like everybody watching Iowa basketball, like there's going to be ups and downs. There's going to be tough losses, but like it's going to be a really, really fun year.
I saw that they redid or added a little different student section to Carver or something. People have been asking
so they're putting 200 students, I think, down like courtside, and then they're moving the student section. I think there's courtside concessions now too.
Wow.
Yeah. Get
yourself a Carver cone on the court level.
Just wait till an arid. I have not seen the layout yet, but I'm just imagining like an arid pass and somebody just gets their entire popcorn spilled.
That's what we want. We want it up like close and personal, man.
Well, I think that's something that was important to Ben too, because remember, if you've ever been to Drake and how that's laid out, the
Drake's
students
awesome.
are right on top of you. So I'm pretty
sure
it feels like it has to be somewhat similar. Not similar because you can't do it when there's 15,000 people in there compared to Drake. But like, you have to find a way to amp up the energy. And it looks like that their ticketing system's a lot better this year for students too. It's like $5 for single game tickets or $10 single game ticket, and then $100 for all home games.
I don't understand why this is. I understand they make money off of it, but I think I will die on this hill. For basketball games, I think that student tickets should be free. And it should just be to whoever. And I know there's probably complications with that, but it should just be first come, first serve. Every single home game, every single year, student tickets are free. Come get them. Like,
yeah. Hey, really quick. Somebody just clarified me. They're adding risers on the baseline instead of the big empty space. That's exactly what it is.
Yeah. Which that empty space has been just like so ugly for years.
Yeah.
So there you go. Women's sold out. The men's attendance is going to be far greater this year, at least early. The idea is like, provide some entertainment and get the fans into it, and you can then build that thing up. And that'll be fun. Shout out to them. Not a basketball show, but we'll talk basketball.
Well, I was going to say the women's media day, Big Ten media day is today, and then the men's tomorrow.
I saw Stolke and
Bierbacher
took off. And
we have Sean Bach going to be in Chicago tomorrow for the men too, for McCollum and them.
Wow. Hawkeye Insider all over the place.
Need to be.
Anyway, they talked about Wisconsin, slow down tempo. That's not a bad thing for Iowa.
No, it's not.
If Iowa struggles with, like, I think if you let Iowa get set, and like that's where Phil Parker wants you. Like, we're gonna play especially. It will be interesting to see the blitz percentage this game. Obviously, it's been higher, right? The highest it's ever been against the Indiana team. Will they feel like they need to do that against this potentially backup quarterback, or are they going to settle back in towards their default of, we're just going to try and make this guy beat us? Because I don't know if their backup or their starter is a guy who's going to.
They can't.
They're not going to be patient enough.
No.
This could be the game where Iowa finally gets like 3 or 4 picks.
This should be a multi-pick game and a multi-sack game, bar none. Yeah. Like Max Llewellyn, this just has him set up for a multi-sack day.
That's music.
Like this game is signed up. And by the way, I don't know if you've seen it yet. I'm pretty sure FanDuel, one of your sponsors, can confirm this.
Shout out to him. I'll check it.
This is the lowest over/under in college football this season.
I did see that on Twitter today.
35.5, I believe it moved to.
Oh my, that's like one of the totals from the dark years, 22.
You know 23. What that tells me also, and again, I'm not reporting this.
I'm taking the over.
I would too. Iowa's got like the second highest over in the Big Ten over the last like 2 seasons, by the way.
Wow.
So
that's a stat.
I'm just guessing what the books are thinking here. I think they think that Mark is not playing.
Yep.
And that's why the total is as low as it is.
Yeah. I don't think the line would move a ton if he was. I think it might be 4.5 if he was playing, guaranteed.
Yeah, I'm looking at it.
It's 35.5 right now on FanDuel.
Is Iowa still 3.5?
The best, yes, they are. Iowa 3.5, which is a minus 184. So they're fairly confident in Iowa in that 3.5 line. Yeah, they're giving you a decent amount of juice there on the 3.5 spread, which is good news because it means Vegas thinks that Iowa's going to win this game. But 35.5 over under, that is just too juicy not to take the over with Iowa's ability to actually move the ball. I mean, think about that, David. Between 2 teams, that means that they're guessing this game is going to be 20-17.
I would say they're thinking 17, like 20. Yeah, 2017, 17, 14.
21-14. Like,
that's so stupid.
Like,
it's so low.
That's so low. It was sometimes hard for Iowa to like really stay under that when we didn't have an offense. Like we were averaging 240 a game. We're averaging like 350 yards a game now.
And again, keep in mind, Iowa put up 42 against them by themselves last year.
So Iowa can score in ways where they don't even need the quarterback to touch the ball. Weechin might take one back. Who knows? I'm not sure.
I would not be surprised if Weechin took one back against the special.
So, I mean, if they give it to him. So, yeah, it's shout out to FanDuel for giving us all the odds this year and being the sports book of the walk-ons. But, man, that is something to consider. On tonight's show, when Kevin, myself, and Grant do the preview of technically week number 6, I guess, but it's like week number 8 of college football. If you count week 0, week number 7. Caleb on YouTube here says, how would Colin Cowherd respond to Mr. Eichelt's backward hat? After David said he was out of his backwards hat era earlier this year when Beth said that his haircut was looking good.
But you know what? It's not a good hair day.
Okay.
Not much more to say. It's just it's not been great.
I don't have to deal with those anymore.
I got flustered with the road construction.
Sure.
Outside.
Sure.
And just off my game. That's why I need more coffee. We'll be all right.
Dude, we need a coffee sponsor. That's what we need.
But I will say though, also, my colleague Elliot Clough wore a backwards hat to media availability too.
Wow.
2 backward hat guys.
Wow. Unreal. Anything else before we look at the big question that we teased?
I think that was the majority of the majority of the press conference for people who missed it was like, I think Chad, myself, I think Jack Leto from KCRG and Scott. I think Tyler Tashman did too. We all asked Kirk about Mark Gronowski and tried to get him to elaborate.
Gabe asks, thoughts on Harrell not playing? I'll give you my thoughts.
Yeah.
I several times, and maybe Kevin can speak to this more, when we were in the stadium 2 weeks ago, week and a half ago against Indiana, Kevin and I looked at each other multiple times and we're like, man, this guy can't get off a block. I mean, he can't. Yeah. I don't think he was like so bad that he was the downfall of the defense, but there was certainly tons of room for improvement, lots of things that could be better. And I don't know if Montgomery, who's currently listed as the starter for this week, right? Jaden Montgomery?
Yep.
I don't know if there's a ton of drop-off there. I think you're getting more of the same, potentially, who knows? Give him a chance. He could be better. I don't know.
I think we don't know. I think you're right. And I'm always saying it because he hasn't had significant game experience at linebacker. But I also think that's part of the reason why they're blitzing more. I think it's to cover up the linebackers. And because the one thing that Jaden, I thought actually has been pretty good at this year, it's been blitzes. He's done a nice job of generating pressure.
Yeah.
Forcing guys to the outside, forcing some bad throws, doing some different things. Like, that's probably one of his bigger skill sets. But again, the other part of it too is, especially with Phil Parker, there's been a lot of safety blitzes. There's been a lot of corner blitzes. And I'm very curious how he does dial it up. I'm with you. I think Carroll's been too inconsistent this year. And I kind of wrote in the bye week, I said, and by the way, this is before I knew he was going to be out. So when I wrote this, it was, with information that I thought he was still going to be playing. It was close to about time to make a change, man.
Yeah.
Like you and I both talked about, there are a couple of positions I was worried about. And if they didn't step it up, this would be the week probably to make that change. Because you don't want to make that change in the second bye week.
No.
Because you don't want to do it for the back half of the year. I mean, the back 3 games of the year, right? Start making guys start in November.
You make a good point on the blitzing to cover up that weakness too. A lot of that discussion has been like, oh, we're outmatched. Like Rutgers and Indiana several times have us outmatched on the corner positions, even against some of the safeties and some of those deeper routes. It ain't just them. I played middle linebacker. The longer a play goes, the more chance a tight end mismatch, or God forbid you get matched up on a like you get a 3 vertical, like I was gonna
say a slot receiver taking.
Yeah, slot, like in
that's
the
the big
flat.
reason why Iowa moved the 4-2-5.
The longer
on the field.
The longer that offense, and specifically a quarterback, has 2 seconds, 3 seconds, 4 seconds, the more separation that mismatch is able to get on a guy like Harrell, who's he's a step behind already. If you can get that guy to get it out in 2 or 3 seconds, Harrell can stay on him. We can cover that up.
Yep.
So if we're blitzing, that forces a quicker progression, a quicker release, and we don't have to. And so I think that's sort of how he's been covered up a little bit this year. I don't know if we're going to get anything significantly better out of Montgomery. If we were going to, I imagine he would have been in the game. And I think we do have the athletic ability to get more on the depth chart at 3 or 4, wherever that may be. It's the mental maturity and the grasp of the playbook and the schematics for, I don't even know who the middle is of those. Is it Buffington?
I would say Buffington's probably
Mike.
Yeah, I would say Buffington.
Well,
Reese is definitely Leo.
Someone said that he's the second fastest kid on the
Will. He's Will.
Someone said that Preston Reese is the second fastest kid on the team.
He's a freak. He's a freak, dude.
Like what? So he's not playing.
I told you from a mentality standpoint, like it's Brian Cushing.
I need to meet this kid.
Level. This is a compliment. It's gonna come across negative. It's a compliment. Total meathead.
Love that.
Like lives and breathes football.
Love that.
Like everything is just like on full go mode. But again, that linebacker class, that in-state linebacker class from last year, I think if it was a year from now, I think they would have started this year. Like the upside on those guys is really, really solid.
Gonna need a couple of them next year. So that's going to be a fun off-season development too. So will they be aggressive? I tend to think that we will still be more aggressive, especially because it's worked. Like proof is in the like we have it. We know that we can do it. And TJ Hall and Deshaun Lee and the safety, they've been okay. And it's not like Wisconsin has the kind of passing attack, the threats, where if we send some guys, we feel super uncomfortable with our guys in the secondary.
And Wisconsin hasn't proven to make good decisions. Like they've not had a quarterback look confident out there all season long. Go back to their season opener. I think it was like 3-0 halfway through the third or something like that. And then they finally got 2 touchdowns late in the game to separate themselves. They haven't had competent quarterback play. So you're talking about an offensive line that struggled, not elite athletes on the outside. Send the house.
Yeah, I think you do it. Maybe not as much as you did against Indiana, but do it more than we normally do. And that would be really fun to watch and like something that we rarely have done against Wisconsin in the past. They just, like you mentioned in the beginning of the episode, when I used to play, they had an offensive line that was not only really, really good physically, but they were good mentally too. And they could pick that stuff up. They were really good at just just kind of stifling that. And I don't know if they are as much anymore. So that kind of
I like the aggressive defense. Again, especially if you're talking about quarterback play that hasn't been great. And again, Mendoza showcased some really good things. But the other thing Mendoza hadn't been all season long, we talked about it. Pressured and battled through adversity. And credit to him, he ended up battling through the adversity. Iowa took a chance on that safety blitz. I know some people hated the call. I still understand why they did it.
Yeah.
But I do think they should. The other part is I think they might not go aggressive early. They might sit back and see if the quarterback's going to be able to make mistakes on his own. And again, the offensive line hasn't proven that they can block good edge rushers. Right. So if you can get one-on-one pressures, if you get Max Llewellyn in a one-on-one situation where you can spin off the left on the right tackle and get to the quarterback, you don't need to send the house.
I love that strategy of especially when you have fresh D linemen in the first quarter. Like, because that's a rotational position anyway.
Yes.
When they're fresh out the gate, see if Herkett and Llewellyn can eat a little bit. And if they can, you can adjust the blitz rate from there, the pressure rate.
Yes.
Because if they can get home, then fuck it. We'll drop 7. But if we have to, I like the aggressive nature of like, okay, second quarter, here comes the blitz. And like, why not make every quarterback, not just Mendoza, not just the good ones.
Yeah.
Why not make every quarterback uncomfortable and feel that pressure and that adversity? So I think Phil has, and that defense as a whole has picked up some confidence in the fact that they've been able to do that a couple times this year. One more thing that he did mention, and this is something that KF is just money at, is he is aware and has told the guys and always does to be careful of what they hear from the outside, what they hear from the media, what they hear from ESPN on, going into Wisconsin, staying away from trying to be like, I think the question was, how do you keep them from being lackadaisical in this game? Sort of just like a roundabout way of saying, like, is this a trap game? Like where the team isn't going to be up for it. And he kind of mentioned, brought up this past weekend where the Hawks were on bye. If you look around the country, it's not too hard to find places where you can very easily get caught. I have to imagine he had Penn State in his mind.
That's exactly what he was thinking of.
When he was saying that. And it's something that I'm going to reiterate on tonight's show. Catch us tonight at 7:30 on the preview for this weekend. It is not hard, even against a shitty Wisconsin team, or hey, Penn State going into a shitty UCLA, haven't won a game. It's not hard for Division I athletes to just put it together and somehow find something. Like, it's 11 versus 11 still. And obviously the Nittany Lions found out about that. It would not be hard for Iowa to sleepwalk into this game if they chose to do so and lose by 2 touchdowns. That is just college sports. So,
and the other side of it too is they can't afford to lose this game.
No,
they can't. Look at the schedule that's coming up. I'm not saying you're saying, oh, we know the domino effect it could have if they lose this game.
Right. Yeah.
They have to win this game. And
3-3
knows that too.
3-3 is an interesting
into a game against Penn State, then Minnesota, and then Oregon, and then traveling to USC.
Yeah,
it does not get easier.
Yeah.
Well, it gets easier after Wisconsin, but I'm sorry, not easier. It gets a lot harder. I messed up. Need more coffee.
So that kind of brings us to the main question of back around to Mark. And I wrote it down as this. It's a question of a healthy backup in either Hecklinski or Hank Brown, who has much less reps and game experience, versus your starter who has rhythm, has, season flow, if you will. He's played in all the games. He feels comfortable on the, when the Bulls are flying now. In Mark Gronowski, that isn't 100%. And here's where my mind immediately goes to is part of Mark being 100 or being the most effective is that his game, when he's at his best, is he's part running back.
Yeah.
And the injury specifically that he has, even if he gets back, even if thinks he can do it, is going to affect that area of his game probably the most. I think his passing probably would be okay. So do you hamstring a guy, no pun intended, and say, all right, Mark, you're going to have to kind of just be a pocket passer in this one. Like, get us out of the pocket if you can extend something, but we're not going to run you 7, 10, 12 times a game or in this game like we have in the past. Well, that just makes him one-dimensional again. And even him being one-dimensional is better than what we've had the last few years.
Yeah.
But I don't know if that, combined with the increased risk of re-injury, is enough to play him in this week. I think you give him one more week, and then you put him in against Penn State. I don't think if he's currently at a spot where, hey, he could go against Wisconsin, teeter-tottering, I don't think you hold him out any longer than 1 week, because we only have him for 12 fucking games this year.
Yeah.
But I would lean, and again, this is totally unknowledgeable. This is just me guessing. I would lean, especially with a bye week to get them ready. I say put in Hank Brown and run Hank Brown. But I don't know. Where do you fall on that?
Before I give my answer, let me ask you one thing. What percentage would you need Mark healthy at to feel comfortable playing him against Wisconsin? In terms of Mark could be Mark with his playing style, because I'll be real with you, I don't think you can dial down Mark, because that's just part of who Mark is.
That's what I'm saying.
I don't think. And again, you know what the other part is, especially if you're a competitor and you get in those moments and you know you're not 100%, he's still going to run the damn ball.
I know.
He's still going to do it. And again, I'm not criticizing him at all, because that's part of what makes Mark, right? But
I think he's
got
to
like telling Russell Westbrook, hey, you can't go dunk anymore.
Yeah.
Or like you can't, be reckless with your body and go to the hole.
I think you have to be we need 90% or more of Mark.
I'm right there with you.
And I don't and maybe they'll have that. Maybe Mark's like, damn, I feel pretty good. Like, it didn't swell up after practice. There is no pain anymore. Like, it was just a little bit of a scare. Okay. I'm not saying we won't have that. But if we don't have that, rest it, and we'll take this. We can manage this Wisconsin team this year with one of the backups, and we'll find a way. Because here's the other thing, David.
Yep.
We went up against Iowa State and Indiana, and in both of those games, we thought we're going to have to score 30. all we needed was 3 touchdowns in both of those games to win the ball game. Our defense and our special teams, though we've had some weak spots here and there, they were able to do it. And the offense was able to do enough to manage time of possession and limit possessions on the other side of the ball. We held Indiana and Iowa State, 2 teams who we thought were going to score all over the place. We'd have to shoot out with them, to 16 and 20 points.
Yep.
So it's not like our offense needs to score a ton. So I think Hank Brown or Hecklinski is capable of coming in and
17
scoring.
Points is enough to win this football game.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, Wisconsin hasn't. I'm going to go back and look at this once I get done responding to that. I'm with you. I think 90% or more. I think there's too much risk for the rest of the season if he is not comfortable being himself. You have a bye week to prepare a game plan. Get Hank comfortable. Get Hank within the system. Work Reese Vanderzee back. You have Xavier Williams back. You're getting some components back to the offense.
Yeah.
Right? What I think is going to happen, because what I think they should do and what I think is going to happen are 2 different things, or at least what KF's playing.
Yep.
If Mark's knee responds well, I think right now, if you asked him, is heart of hearts today, Mark's going to play on Saturday.
Yeah.
I thought he did a really good job of walking the line yesterday, because you could tell he stopped a couple times and really thought about how he wanted to say a couple things, right?
Yeah, he even said, I got to be careful how I answer this.
He doesn't want to guarantee it, though, because I still think they're waiting to see how he responds in practice, how his knee, if it swells, how he feels Friday. I think they have 2 different – I do believe, regardless, that they're spending an equal amount of time on a game plan with Mark and on a game plan with Hank.
Yeah.
This is not going to be like a 1s and 2s type deal. Like I bet they're laying Hank with the 1s and with what his playbook would be. Because again, with all due respect to Kirk, Tyler, you know as well as I do, there's 2 different game plans if you have Hank or Mark in at quarterback.
Last week Lester talked about how he lets the guys put down their favorite plays.
Yes.
And so and those are going to be different. And yeah.
So that's what I think is going to happen. If I had to guess, I would say a little over 55, maybe 55% Mark plays on Saturday.
Slightly better than 50.
I would lean more toward that, but that's just based off reading between the lines with Kirk. I haven't been able to get an update on Mark from my sources today, but again, practice literally just ended probably like 20, 30 minutes ago.
Yeah.
If that. So I do think that's a factor. But again, if he's not 90%, man, like you don't want it to linger. You don't want to re-injure it. You want him healthy for the games against Penn State, Oregon, at USC.
Yep.
Again, with all due respect to Wisconsin, name brand opponents. Penn State might not be ranked, but a win against Penn State is a win against Penn State.
Right.
I know somebody in the chat just asked if Hecklinski's going to play. I don't buy it yet. I still think he's behind because Hank has more experience, especially with going through the spring and everything else.
Imagine this. Gronowski isn't able to go. We start Hank Brown, and I would never – this is like bad putting this into ether. Something happens, Hank gets tweaked up or something. We put in Heck, and we just completely shift mid-game to the slow mesh, and we just look like Wake Forest, and we just run Wisconsin out of the building with the slow mesh. It'd be incredible. Slow mesh – with RVZ and Dayton Howard as the outside routes, and we're just reading it, baby. I don't know what's going to happen.
So let me tell you. Okay. In the last 8 Big Ten games, Wisconsin has put up more than 14 points one time.
Run with that statistic, knowing that we have a pretty good defense, and just get enough to win the ball game.
28-13 loss. 42-10 loss, 16-13 loss, 44-25 loss, 24-7 loss, and then this season, 27-10 loss, 24-10 loss, and then they lost 38-14 against Bama. They can't put up points, man.
Yeah. No, they're not completely dead in the water, but they're just not going to blow you away. And they don't, like you said, the very top of the show, they don't have the skill players to do it. And that's pretty much it. So we'll see. Again, we're going to have the preview show tonight, and I'm sure David and all the all the people will have this stories continuing to, what would I say? Stories are evolving this week. And we'll see Friday and Saturday. Obviously, we got the night game, so you're going to have to stay up late. I'm going to have to stay up late. And then
by the way, really quick, I know we talked about basketball earlier. There's two things I want to point out. I know it's a football pod, but because of the West Coast and everything, there's a chance that Iowa tips off a game this year at 11 p.m. Central Time.
Yeah, you can count on not having me watching that one.
And there's another one that's like 10:30.
That is awful. That's it. We've got, again, the preview show tonight. Shout out to our last two sponsors of the day, Gray's and Hamburg Inn. There's going to be a stretch of games here with Penn State and Oregon and Minnesota in between, I believe, all three at home, where there's going to be a lot of people headed to Iowa City. And if you need two unbelievable spots to catch some grub while you're in town for the game, you could hit Gray's or Hamburg Inn. Gray's, obviously, we've talked about the chicken lips all year. Had several people last week say, man, finally tried Gray's. And you're right. The chicken lips are unbelievable. And I just pulled up the Hamburg Inn menu on the side screen here, and I am jealous that I'm not in Iowa City. I would be ordering for pickup immediately. I'd probably go with the 3-stack of buttermilk pancakes that are massive, David. And then
their portions are insane.
They're insane. And then a French silk pie shake, even though it's 11, you can have a shake for lunch. It's not a big deal. You are not going to be disappointed, and you will not go home on an empty stomach if you go to either of these spots. They are both more than worth the money. Shout out to them for being sponsors of the Walk-Ons this year. Shout out to David Eichholt for another great show this week.